I have a theory about people like Michelle Obama and like the ones who are constantly talking about how hard everything is and how like, remember she's clapped back at Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In, and there was plenty to criticize with Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In, but like Michelle Obama at that time was like, that doesn't always work. And she wasn't talking about for working class people. She was talking about for black people. She had to play the race card when she was first lady that, you can't just get what you want if you go after it. This is just she's always been this way. And what I have learned, and this was in part thanks to some of my own journey, and I mentioned the reference to the NBC stint, people who are constantly talking about like self-help and like depression and how hard things are and how to get through them are very depressed. And they are probably not people you should be listening to as your teacher if you are feeling depressed or sad or listless or non-directional. Those actually are not your teachers. What you need is like a Judge Judy. You need a Maureen Callahan, or dare I say an MK. You need somebody who's living a great life, getting after it, putting points on the board, and not spending too much of their time navel gazing into how I don't have a tail. It's really sad, right? Like that's her. She's an Eeyore. And it is, I think, her depression. And she's not somebody we should be seeking guidance or enlightenment from at all.
The fact that people don't see me going out on a date with my husband sparks rumors of the end of our marriage.
Mix.
I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
His former First Lady Michelle Obama addressed her divorce rumors by announcing to the American people that the reason she is rarely seen with Barack is because they are 60 years old. I don't know why she said this. A lot of people are not buying this. Like, they believe that when you are this age, that is when you enjoy your marriage. But look at what Michelle is saying. Because they are 60. I don't know if this guy cut this clip out of context, but when you understand exactly what she was saying here, struggling to clear the air, a lot of people will still not buy this. Yes, that is based on my understanding. I've been doing videos about her for some time. A lot of people till date still question this.
The fact that people don't see me going out on a date with my husband sparks rumors of the end of our marriage. We are 60. You just are not going to know what we're doing every minute of the day. I don't know if my ambition has ever fully been able to actualize itself. And people say mothers raise their girls and love their sons. And I'd say, love your son, but raise him too. Raise him to be as strong as you know he's going to have to be. Teach him about how to deal with a traffic stop, but also teach him how to communicate in a marriage and be a listening father and to, be a compassionate neighbor and to be a voting citizen, somebody who's going to pay attention and care about something outside of himself. And if you're thinking about that human, then all these choices become a little more clear.
Yes, Megyn Kelly blown off on Barack Obama. When you take a look at this tweet, which I'm going to show you the video, look at this guy sitting around on a Thursday trying to relive his glory day. It is all about him, where his congratulatory message to our troops and President Trump for their historic mission in. When you take a look at what Barack posted here, they sat down in an interview today. Progress in this country never comes easy or quick. For every few hard-earned step forward, we might stumble a couple steps back, but sometimes the slow, steady effort of generation is rewarded with justice that arrives like a thunderbolt. That's exactly what happened in a remarkable sprint of history 10 years ago this week. Obama is taking back glory to himself. Even to say a word to appreciate Trump for what he did, Obama can mention that Megyn Kelly is not happy with these.
Democrats are still looking for someone to lead them out of the hole the party is in, and some people are criticizing former President Obama Really? For not speaking out more. He's did the job already. I mean, the New York Times just wrote about a recent speech where he made veiled warnings about the direction the country is heading in, but he didn't mention Trump by name. Because he's a gentleman, that's why. Does he have an obligation to get out in the public and talk more? Because he was the president, one of the great presidents, I think, 2 terms.
Yeah.
And a totally great guy.
Yeah. I mean, the country was. I think he was just such an important figure in American history as the first Black president. And certainly he was measured, brilliant, a real statesman. But I don't think he owes us anything at this point. What I think is the people that are sort of complicit in what is happening, people that are in the Senate, people that are in Congress, people that are in the administration, those are the people that need to speak up. Those are the people that need to hem their party members in. And I've been hearing all this, Obama needs to do something, Michelle needs to do something. They don't need to do anything. And Charles Blow, I think, said it beautifully. He said it's Black, in terms of the Black delegation, he writes, it's our turn to be allies. We will pray for your safety and cheer for your success as you put your bodies on the front lines. We want the resistance to win, but we want the groups responsible for most of the damage to bear most of the risk. And I think that's what people are thinking.
Well, it says that President Obama is taking phone calls from current state leaders, Democratic candidates, up-and-comers, and he says, I advise them privately, which I think is awesome. That's the most important thing. I understand people's hunger for someone that was more unifying and people loved and popular and a 2-term president. I understand that, but I think whenever you've served this country as the president of the United States or the first family, you have served. You have done your duty. I also see, though, that Democrats are kind of flailing around because there isn't one clear leader. So, again, I think people are grasping for straws. But I also see that President Obama offers such a soothing, calm presence. When you see him, that's why he probably won the presidency. When you hear him speak, you trust him, you believe him, and you think you're going to be okay. So I think people are desperate for that kind of voice or grown-up in the room, but it is by no means his obligation.
Well, who else? What about George Bush showing his face?
In normal times, former presidents would remain quiet and not criticize or attack the current president, particularly in year 1 when it was the honeymoon period. Well, this isn't a honeymoon period. This is a nightmare. Yeah. And it's an American nightmare. These are not normal times. What I saw last weekend in those protests, those No King protests, where over 2,000 cities hosted protests and millions, 5 to 10 million people went out and protested, is that the American people are taking it upon themselves. They're not waiting for a leader. They're not waiting for a great white knight or black knight or Latino knight to drive them out of the forest and the wilderness. They're doing it upon themselves. And I'll say this, I love that Obama is leading his best life right now. He's happy, he's making money, he's making movies, he's doing all sorts of things. But you know what? America is in danger. Our democratic values are in danger. And I think that if you feel that way, each and every one of us has got to do everything we absolutely can. Some of us have a bigger voice, some of us have a smaller voice. Some of us have a bigger platform, some of us have a smaller platform. But if we are all Americans and we care about the democratic values that are under threat and under attack by Donald Trump, then we have a duty and a responsibility as citizens to do everything we can.
Listen, I think that the reason people are looking to Obama right now is because Dems don't have a clear leader. But I think whoever is going to get Democrats...
A couple are emerging, though.
Well, that's what I'd say. I think whoever is going to get Democrats kind of out of the wilderness is going to be a leader for this moment in history. Barack Obama was president of Republicans. I don't think there is a singular force in Donald Trump. There is no one more powerful, more influential in this moment in Republican politics.
This is him repeating the same thing. I understand they advocate for more of these on social media. Now going into calculating the view, they reacted to this video in a way that draw my attention. I want you to see that when you take a look at this video, our former president obligated to speak out, the view co-host, wherein as some are criticizing former President Barack Obama for not being more outspoken about the current administrations, they are not happy that Obama is not talking about Trump the way they expected. Looking at this forum, Obama talked about the Trump administration without calling his name. The view seem not to be happy about that. According to some, Obama should be more vocal about Trump. Obama did during the campaign period, said all types of things about Trump, call him names. At the end of the day, we saw the end result, and I concluded this Obama guy is irrelevant. Yeah, people don't care about him, what he says. That's the truth. So, whatever thing he says about Trump, it means nothing to a lot of people. Look at Trump approval ratings right now. You can see it for yourself. Today I watched Michelle Obama. I think I reacted to that video, making it clear like, she's extremely happy not having a boy child with Obama because the child would be like Obama. I was shocked.
It's about what he needs as a grown man in the world. That would be.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Thank you guys who always be there sharing out my videos. God bless you abundantly. If you see any clip after this, that is for a YouTube algorithm. I always put short videos. They don't pick up videos on this channel to recommend. That is just the secret what we struggle here every day.
And, got to be in the White House for all those years, but she's angry about it and thinks that it's worthy of all of our attention.
People line up for my advice, and you're walking away like I'm stupid. It's like,
Why don't we choose more carefully who we're going to lionize?
why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult. It's like
She's seriously depressed about how hard it is to live in the White House.
Post this morning alleging that since I said I will prevail.
It also shouldn't be racial.
Require Carmelo to run. He had
100.
Has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification.
This is not going to end. Right is right and wrong is wrong. All good.
If you see any clips after this, that is just for the YouTube algorithm.
What if he says self-defense?
There's no self-defense because kids in here and resolve this issue is called conflict resolution.
Again, the evidence is still coming in.
This is definitely a self-defense case because it always is one until you...
Because she's fearful of what might happen to her.
Followers for anything. And then
Registration Act is
talking about
term, and you will be very...
Once again, the field was littered with Wintour does.
And black people don't want to live around ratchet black.
how bad is his reputation going to be?
Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence.
Black fatigue. This